welcome to Conversations and Cocktails. Today's guest is the owner of Trading Musicians. How lucky are you? Robin Bartlett Smith is a fabulous woman, and you get to hear all about her rise to fame. So, if you like this, and I know you will, then make sure you subscribe to me. And I know every week I try to figure out where the subscribe button is, and I don't actually know. Because when I look for it, it just says, you're the creator of this account. So maybe one of you could tell me where the button is, and I can point to the right spot. Thanks for all your help. Ciao! Hi, and welcome to Conversations and Cocktails. Today's guest is my neighbor, Robin Bartlett Smith, and she owns the Trading Musicians right next door to us at Cafe Racer. And we met about a year and a half ago when we moved in. We became fast friends because she's fun, and this is a good block. We just are great. And she chose Hales Ales Luchador Lager. And so cheers. Cheers to being neighbors.
Yes.
Cheers to being women business owners in a male industry.
Exactly.
It's a good lager. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and I don't even drink beer. And look at, we got the cute little, it's June, so we've got cute little Pride. Yep. Yes, delicious.
Cool.
Thank you, Hales. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Okay, so you own Trading Musician, and for those of you who aren't in Seattle and aren't musicians, what you should know is it is the #1 music store in Seattle. And people come, we actually have customers that stop by here because once a month they come into town to go look at your store. So we also have famous musicians that, come in just to go to Trading Musicians because you get some cool instruments.
Yeah, we do. And people come from all over.
All
They're
over.
on tour, they're, from Europe, from everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
It's a famous music store.
Pretty well known.
Pretty well known all over the world.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. How did you end up owning a music store? For how long have you owned the music store?
Since 91.
91.
What does that put us?
I don't know. It's too much. Too long.
28
30
years?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah. That's a long ass
I need
time.
my calculator. So long time.
Yeah.
So how did I get started?
I think I remember you moved from California and
There's the long story and then there's the short
the
story.
condensed version. We've only got 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm originally from Michigan, so moved to Houston, California, and then met some people who were coming to Seattle and said, come to Seattle. So came to Seattle and loved it here. Ended up back in California for a while and worked for my brother because he bought a music store, which is where I started learning from his bookkeeper, like how to do the books and that kind of thing. So I learned sort of the basics at that time, and then through more things that happened, opportunities that presented themselves, me and my future husband, who met down in California, had the opportunity to start our own store, which we did, also down in California, and that went really bad. Okay.
Well, that's your learning curve. That was your
exactly. The best experiences have been the worst experiences. So you learn a lot from the mistakes. Totally.
Yeah. Teaching.
But anyway, so we threw everything into a van, including our we had gotten married at that time, and my son was about a year and a half old. Threw him in the van along with a van full of what we did actually own, and came up here to Seattle and started our store on 65th and 15th by Roosevelt High School. We lived in the store.
I love that.
We were dirt poor, and it was kind of crazy, but we basically had nothing to lose, and it seemed like a promising place to be. And when I was here in Seattle before, I loved it. I loved this town. It was a great city.
It was a town.
Yeah.
It was a town. I mean, I grew up. It was like the little city that could.
Well, exactly. And I'm from the country, basically, and I always loved the city, but I didn't like big cities. So Seattle was like the perfect size little city, you know, and I loved it, and been here ever since, and the store really took off, and, you know, it just kept growing and growing, and then we moved in 95 to this location.
The corner of Roosevelt and Ravenna.
Roosevelt and Ravenna.
And it used to be a Honda store?
Yeah, the Honda motorcycle
Honda
shop.
motorcycle
For 20
shop.
years.
Yeah, that's
before
what my
we were
dad
there.
remembers. It's
And
like,
a gas station before that. So,
Okay.
yeah, that building has a long, long history. And anyways, it was the perfect building for us, partly being, you know, near the university and near all the schools where music is a high priority in the schools around here. And it just kept growing and taking off, and, you know, it did well. So here we are.
Still doing
Still
well.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, as you know, that's how your business is. It's iconic. It's longevity. It has all it's women owned. I mean, there's not a lot of music stores that are women owned, and
Right.
especially such a iconic music store. I don't know if everybody knows that it's woman owned and operated, and not necessarily operated
No,
all
they
the time,
don't.
but you do all the
Actually, it's-
books and run
yeah.
the management of it. and-
Yeah. I don't do all the books anymore. Pretty much my staff takes care of
Okay.
everything, which is great. I'm sort of semi-retired at this point, and I have such a good staff that, you know, I still oversee things and manage things, but I'm not there on a daily basis. But yeah, we started it with me and my ex-husband. So he was the musician. He's the one that has been buying and selling and trading instruments for years over the counter as a customer. So when we had the opportunity to buy the store, it was sort of natural that I fit into the sort of business model part of that. And he had the equipment knowledge and the sales knowledge and all of that. He was the musician. And then when we split the store and he started his own and I kept this one, and it just kind of kept rolling. And one of my fears at that time, which I think we talked a little bit about some of the things you had overcome, was that he had always done the hiring of the salespeople, and I had very little confidence in myself that I would be able to do that. But if you know the staff that we have now, I've done a damn good job.
You've done a damn good job. I mean, they are just wonderful
They're good people. They're
And
such good people.
I mean,
And they
it's
know
great
what they're
neighbors.
doing. Yeah.
We had a band that played, and I was friends with the woman whose band it is. And she was like, I need a new bass guitar. And I've been looking for a bass guitar. And I walked her over and I said, here
Guess
you
what?
are.
There's a music
This
store
is-
right
yes,
there."
this is where you
Cool.
shall buy your
Yeah.
bass guitar. Oh wait, and an amplifier.
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of kept going. And then the strap for the guitar, it had to
Oh.
match. And,
Right.
you know, yeah, great service. And I just watched
Yeah.
from afar, like, ew, yeah, it was
Well,
nice.
you know, I have a background in music too. My mother's side of the family especially was way into music, and music had to be part of your education. You know, it's like taking math and science and anything else, is that you had to be educated in music too. And she was right. She was totally right about that, and I thank her for that. So I do have a background in music that most people also don't know about. And then my mother was also an accountant, and my dad was an architect, and I sort of think that I am like sort of that combination of all those things. And I taught myself how to run the business, pretty much. But I felt like it was the creative side of my family that allowed me to do that in a creative way that's sort of different than other people. And I'm starting to chat, but
That's okay. That's what we have. That's why we lubricate to keep it going.
when we first moved here, you know, the pawn shops and used stores and everything had such a bad reputation, and ripping people off and selling broken gear. And our whole model was that we fixed up everything that we brought in. So we've always had a guitar repair shop, and we also fix up and repair drums.
I have to go tangential because, so I was raised Lutheran.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until we bought this bar
Mhm.
and I met the luthier
Oh,
that I learned the word luthier
Oh.
as a person who fixes string instruments,
Right.
guitars, right?
Right.
And so the way I remember it is luthier, Lutheran. Okay, it's not a Lutheran, so I always tease. Are you Lutheran, you luthier, you? Yes.
to different things.
I
but-
know, but that's how I remember. So I didn't have a clue because I own a bar. And my family comes from taverns, and we had to drink as children, or else we couldn't get by. No, I'm kidding. So it's different
Seriously?
than music, much different background than music. But I didn't know the verbiage of music and such.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
learning, just by being neighbors, I'm learning
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. There's actually so much to know. And I don't know, I think that's one of the things my employees bring to the business is their knowledge of just everything. I mean, not just about music, but the instruments, the history of the instruments, like everything crazy. And I would never be able to know all of that. So it takes a team for sure, and I'm sort of the guiding hand. I'm like, you guys make the money, and I figure out what to do with it. But it's all up to you, really. So if it wasn't for them, there'd be nothing. I think most businesses are like that, and I don't know how many employers really give the employees credit, and recognize that if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. So, it really does take a team. It's important to appreciate everything and everyone that does what they're supposed to do. When they don't do what they're supposed to do, out the door.
But your team have been there for a long time. I mean, you keep your staff for a long time. Not like a high turnover place at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think Ron has been there since '94.
94.
Yeah, and Joe as well. They're my two longest running employees. My luthier was there for 22 years before he got sick and had to quit. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's amazing to keep people that long, and then that makes the job easier too, because then they can train the new people that come on. And I don't have to be there every second of every day, repeating all the policies and everything that's been developed over the years. So it's huge. They're amazing.
Right, right. Well, and it says a lot about you. I think that if you have a business that has low turnover and longevity, the leader, like you said, you're the one just kind of the guiding hand.
Yeah.
You must be the gentle but firm guiding hand that people can trust, respect, and have fun and be autonomous within that community, right? So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
So it
is
says a lot about you.
a difficult balance sometimes to hold. And one of the things I guess I learned, I don't know, maybe I'm getting too chatty again. I learned a long time ago is you can't be too good at friends with your employees. I say, especially as a woman, because then they don't respect you and they don't listen to what you say and they don't take you seriously. So that was something I learned years and years ago. I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be friends. I wanted to be like, hey, this is, one big party. And then I realized it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. I wish it could, but it doesn't. And I think part of that is being a woman. And just, when I say something, you need to listen to what I say, and you need to take me seriously. And it's harder to do as a woman than a man. So I had to draw that line and make that distinction years ago. And that's part of what's sad, maybe, about running a business and being that person and in charge and in control is, having to maintain that balance between, hey, I want to be your friend, we're all having a good time. And I was like, no, wait a minute, you need to do things the way I told you to do things.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to be the one to fire them.
Yeah.
So how close can you get when it's yes.
A lot of the people that I had to fire or don't work for me anymore are still good friends.
Oh, good.
So, I think,
You do it right all the way around.
Not all of them, but some of them, because I think they realized, not at the time that they're getting fired, that this is kind of even in their best interest, and it's years later down the road that they kind of figure it out and go, yeah, I get it, and nobody holds grudges, so, and not everybody.
But most of them. So this is the question that I ask every woman that is sitting in your seat. As a female, and from your personal culture of origin, how has that helped you or hurt you in the industry you're in? Like being an entrepreneur in the music industry.
So I don't think this is really specific to the music industry.
Okay. Yeah.
But being a woman from, raised in a pretty sexist background and sexist era, you're just not taken as seriously as a woman. And when you tell somebody do something this way, they question that. Or they, in other situations, you're just kind of written off and completely ignored, and like what you said doesn't matter. So,
Like you're cute or something versus.
well, like you're irrelevant,
Yeah. Yes.
So I've encountered some of those situations running my business, and I've had to learn how to, stand my ground. But then, of course, you don't want to be a bitch. You don't want to be,
The bitch.
If you're too hardcore, right? You're a bitch.
What do they call men that are too hardcore? Powerful?
Strong.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yeah. He's a strong man.
Yeah.
He knows where he stands. He's got principles. He's
Yeah.
got morals,
But if you're a
Women-
strong woman that knows where she's
Oh,
saying
you're
you're a
just a
bitch.
bitch. Yeah.
Right.
So there's that.
Right.
But that's pervasive. That's not. I've never really felt a whole lot of sexism from the music industry itself.
Even though it's a male-dominated industry.
It's male dominated, but it always seems to be, how many women have been in the music industry that are just, incredible. So I don't think that like male musicians look at women musicians in that way.
Right.
It's different, it's like they respect them as having, this incredible talent. It's not a matter of whether you're a man or a woman. So it's different when you're like a musician, but as a business owner, telling employees what to do, and all of them being men. I mean, it's not just the industry that's male dominated. I've had a hell of a time trying to even find women to work in my business. It's hard. When we come across one, I'm like, not a woman.
We do right now, right?
Erica, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, there's a woman over there.
One.
I know, I hear
One.
you.
But
I
it's
know.
always like one.
So women get into the music industry, teach
Totally.
music, sell musical instruments, be dominant in your field, show yourself, become a luthier. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing if you
Yeah.
had a female luthier over there?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love your luthier, don't get me wrong.
I know.
Yeah. Special
Yeah.
spot in my heart.
Yeah, yeah. And we encourage women all the time. We've had some women put up reviews on Yelp or whatever, saying that that was the one music store they walked in where they didn't feel like they were being condescended to by the male employees. Just because they were a woman, they felt like they were treated equally, and they felt good about that. So that's really cool.
Right. Well, like I said, I don't know. We're in Seattle. I belong and kind of mix with other women business owners. Owning a business, being female, it's a thing. There's a little clique of women that we run together. We shop at each other's places. We do our best. I don't know that people know that Trading Musician is women owned. I mean, that's a female owned.
Right.
I don't know, because it's all men that work there.
Right.
And there are a lot of men that come in and out.
Yep.
I don't know if they stop and think like this is owned by a woman,
Some
or
people
if
are
the women,
surprised when
yeah,
they
or the
find
women
out.
in the music industry. Do
Yeah.
they know that they're supporting women?
Yeah. I don't really go out there and scream and yell.
Right.
Hey, support my business. I'm a woman.
Right. We don't have to. You've got a very successful music business. I
Yeah.
mean, people. I'm on the neighborhood community page on Facebook, social media, and I thought it was fascinating because for whatever reason, one of those box store music companies has moved down the street from us, and so
Yes.
on our neighborhood page, it said, "Hey, has this box store music company opened their doors yet?" And so somebody said, "We wouldn't know. That's not our music store. There's no other music store but Trading Musicians.
This is
how could
my
this
neighborhood.
Right, yeah, it was like 5 or 6 of the little
Yeah.
things of nobody ever said whether or not the box store music store opened, because nobody gives a shit about
Yeah.
box store music
Yeah.
when we've got, you sell used instruments. You allow people to play. I go in and there's things happening. My own 13-year-old who's a musician loves going there and asking questions. He goes to
Yeah.
the drums, he goes to the string instruments, he's asking questions, he's
Right.
playing. He bought
Right.
his first musical instrument from you, a ukulele.
Oh.
Yes, he spent $100. He had to save. He went busking at the park up here.
Really?
Yeah, all the different things he did to get to that number that he
Yeah,
needed to
perfect.
buy the
Aw,
ukulele. It's a
that's sweet.
vintage ukulele. He didn't want, he wanted what he wanted. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. He didn't want an inexpensive new model. He wanted that one.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
so
Oh, that's
cute.
really sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. And you provided your business under your leadership, totally provided this nurturing of love of music.
Yeah.
Not about selling the product, but about loving music.
That's what it's always been.
Yeah, and what I appreciate is, you talk about your family background, you being made to do music, your brother teaching you the industry of a music store, and then you going out from that, springboarding, and here, 28 years did
Yeah.
we figure out, years later,
Yeah.
the community. The
Yeah.
community is
Yeah.
so grateful for the things that you have brought to us.
Good.
I mean,
Cool.
it's,
That means a lot. You
Yeah.
know, I could probably be a lot richer if I wanted to just sell people stuff they don't need.
right.
But it's never been about that. And never.
And people know it, and that's why they come to you, not to a big box music store. Yeah. I mean, we are the bar next door.
I know.
So,
It's a fun relationship.
yeah,
You
what,
know?
what happens?
We need a bar
is-
next door.
Yeah. What
And a
happens?
coffee shop,
is-
too.
Yeah, we do sell coffee and Bloody Marys. So we're
And
kind of
Bloody-
all the
Bloody
things.
Marys.
We can cover all the bases.
That's right.
But what happens a lot of times is, in musicians, again, we get the people who come from other regions to shop at your store on a regular basis. They also come here to have a Bloody Mary or whatever their thing is on a regular basis. And we have the musicians who, I guess they come here too, to shoot tequila and different things, that are
Well, it's a,
adamant about being here every
but
time
this
they go
is-
there.
This is a community hangout too. You know what I
Well,
mean?
that's-
This is
but it's interesting.
The meeting place, and yeah, it crosses over a
It
lot.
does, it
But
does.
this has always been like the community meeting place, and it's funny because I know people that I've known for 28 years through that business that are still coming here and hanging out here. You know, and there's a real. That's what makes a community, though, doesn't it?
It is
You
the
know?
back and forth. I mean, we
Yeah.
have in common,
Yeah.
right? We have the artists in
Yeah.
common. You know,
We complement each other. We don't
We do.
compete with each other, but we complement each other in what we do and the crossover, and that makes a good community.
and we both serve musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, really, my audience. I have a stage, and
Yep.
my customer is a musician.
Right.
We're an art bar.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the point. We got
Yeah.
the stage
You guys
where people can
support-
play their music.
Support that whole thing.
The
I
kids,
know.
we got Roosevelt, the jazz kids, you know,
Awesome.
getting started on our stage and buying their instruments next door.
Yeah.
I totally think that we need to do that neighborhood night out.
Yeah.
We got to figure that out. But
Oh,
we
totally.
won't do that on stage.
Yes.
But you should come to the Ravenna neighborhood, because if we have a party, it's going to be a good party.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah. Scott came in. I'll tell you that later because we're on stage now. But he's got some ideas about the party too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So being a female,
and
sorry about this.
We could
We
even
can just
get
keep
into
going.
politics if
Yeah,
we wanted.
exactly.
Alex Peterson, who also supports the community, and et cetera, et cetera.
We could just keep going, but we're not gonna. We're gonna stick to the program. We got to cheers again.
Okay.
I love you.
Cheers.
Oh my
I love
God.
you
I am
too.
so grateful.
Here. Is it okay if I have a hug?
Yes, we can hug each other because we're not groping each other,
Okay.
and we're not looking for something
Yeah, but what if I
different.
want to grope you?
Yeah, well, it's okay. If you want to, I'll let you. You have permission.
Oh, okay.
That's the difference. Okay, wait, I have to click again because I gotta do it.
All right.
Okay, so now that we know all about you,
Uh-oh.
and
No, you don't.
Yeah, well, okay, in a very short amount of time, how can people find your business? And do you sell online? Do we
Yes.
come in person? How does this work?
All of the above.
All of the above, because all the musicians out there, female or male, want to buy from you.
So, obviously, we're a local store, corner of Roosevelt and Ravenna.
Yep.
We carry drums, guitars, amps, ukuleles, violins, cellos, acoustic guitar. We carry this huge range.
From
So,
beginner to very
Yeah.
high level,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all price ranges, all levels, and I still think the best way to shop is to try it on in person. Go there, pick it up, feel it, play it, hear it. So that's the best thing. And then the website, tradingmusician.com. We have a
Musician,
website.
not multiple. There's not a
No.
bunch of musicians.
Tradingmusician.com.
One.
Yeah. And so there's that. We have product you can buy online.
You can buy online.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook page that has a lot of cool stuff on it all the time. We get something new in and crazy, and it'll get posted on Facebook. So.
And you say new and crazy, you mean from somebody's basement, right?
Oh, it could be from anywhere.
Yeah.
There's so many cool things going on in the industry, and somebody's always inventing the next coolest, wild,
Okay.
crazy thing.
So
right?
you've got the old and the new.
Yeah.
Nice.
So the Facebook page too, and then I think we're on
Twitter?
Instagram.
Instagram. Oh, I can imagine that Instagram is there because there's lots of great
Instagram.
pictures. I
Yeah.
could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, the best way to find us is, I think, the webpage.
The webpage.
Tradingmusician.com.
Tradingmusician.com, or show up in person and play, because literally you can play.
It's a toy store.
It is a toy store. It's
like,
a toy store.
Come and have fun. You don't have to buy anything.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, and come to our neighborhood and visit us. I mean, female businesses right next to each other, and both of our
We
target
rock.
audience are men.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Because we dominate you. Ciao. See you next week.